In early March, more than 1,000 insurance agents from across the country descended on Capitol Hill in Washington, D.C. Their goal was to raise awareness among their own senators and congressmen about important issues affecting agents and their insurance markets in their home states. It's an event that's been put on for roughly 15 years by the Independent Insurance Agents and Brokers of America. It's designed as a project to complement the group's lobbying efforts on Capitol Hill. Insurance Journal caught up with two of these groups, one from Connecticut, another from Mississippi, as they made their way around the legislative office buildings. Angela, we had a chance to follow you guys yesterday as you made your way around Capitol Hill. Why don't you start off by telling me a little bit about your experience and what you saw and did yesterday?
Well, we got an opportunity to meet with all of our legislators from our state, which was really good. Some years it's harder than others. We did have to split up our team at one point. But I have to say that our meetings were very effective. I really feel like they listened to what we had to say, what our issues were, where we were coming from. We shared examples of what we see on a day-to-day basis. We tried to make it real for them to understand why we believe the way that we believe.
Oliver, tell me a little bit about why you came up to Washington and what you're expecting to do and see today.
Well, first of all, as a young agent, this is a tremendous opportunity to see how things get done or don't get done in Washington. And as a young agent, I think it's crucial that you understand what's going on at the state level and at the national level.
Dave, you have a unique perspective because you were a staffer in your previous career. With that insight, how you think this will affect it? Will this go a long way? Will this help? Is this something that's instrumental to being an insurance agent?
I think it has. Of course, it reminds me to sit and think like a staffer would. You got to remember, we come up here, we bring our 1,000 people, and we're a big deal for one day. But this is just a normal day for them during this time of the year. They see tomorrow and the next day another group of architects and doctors. And if you can connect personally, which is what we've tried to do. One of the staffers we walked in, one of our delegation actually knew her dad and her aunt, and we started engaging. And these people turned overnight from just efficient staffers to real people, and their faces warmed up. And once you've made that connection, they realize that you're them, you're part of their crew. And that goes a long way in getting your message across. And it was very successful yesterday, too.
So Spencer, you spent all of yesterday on Capitol Hill. Do you feel like your concerns were listened to and this is going to have an effect? Maybe not a short-term effect, but in the whole, this is going to help you as an agent?
Absolutely. And one thing that I noticed, since again, I've come down here a few times to do this, is I think that the members of Congress are a little bit more scared this year about their re-election than in years past. Two things that we talked about throughout the day is one, they really were listening and they made a concerted effort to meet with us in person and not just have a staff person meet with us. The other thing, which I found very interesting, is I thought they all looked a little tired. I think they've had a long year, and we were remarking about there just seems to be a little bit of exhaustion in town. After our day on the Hill, had an opportunity to attend a reception. We had about 36 members of Congress come join some of our larger donors for our Political Action Committee in SurePAC. And had a great conversation with members. And I mentioned to a couple of them that it seemed like the mood was a little bit of exhaustion. And they confirmed that. In fact, it's been a long year. There's a lot on the plate. They are, obviously everyone in the House is up for re-election. And so it's interesting times in Washington for sure.
For the agents who spent the day on Capitol Hill, many came back feeling as though they were listened to and that their responses didn't fall on deaf ears. Whether or not that translates into any political change is anyone's guess. Still, most of the agents say they plan to be back next year. Reporting from Washington, I'm Ken St. Onge from Insurance Journal magazine.